Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What's going on? What is going on, people? This is Big B Daily Show. Welcome back. We're live on TikTok. What is going on, TikTok? And we are live on YouTube. What's happening, YouTube? What is going on, people? Thank you guys for tuning in, man. We got a good show today. So, talking little college football playoff, talking a little Ja out for the season in Memphis. Little Black Tuesday today. Some Black Tuesday. Vrabel out. I think that's crazy, but we'll get to that. Again, man, TikTok, we appreciate everybody that's in here. Keep tapping the screen, man. 3,500 likes and at least 30 new follows. So if you're in here and you're not following, please give me a follow. We appreciate it. Let's get into it. Michigan rolls over Washington. I mean, that's pretty much what I thought. That's what a lot of people thought. Michigan came out and just ran the football down their throat. The first two series, I mean, my God, that was ugly. And then to turn around and at the end of the game, I mean, I don't know. The game was close. It was a closer game, but I don't know about you all, but I never thought that Michigan was in any danger of losing this football game. I don't think that they were in any danger of losing. They controlled the game. They controlled the line of scrimmage. You know, I have been saying from day one that Penix, I didn't like him as an NFL prospect. So I didn't like him as an NFL prospect. I think he can play in the NFL, but people were saying, oh, he's going to be a top 10 pick. I'm like, hold the phone. Last night, you saw Penix constantly backing away from the rush, trying to throw the ball on his back foot. And yeah, you're going to say, well, he got hurt. Well, he was doing it before he got hurt. That's not a top 10 NFL draft pick, people. Constantly backing away, afraid of the rush. I don't know. I hope he's better. I hope he does. But last night, wasn't it? Didn't show me anything. And Michigan just out-physicaled Washington like a lot of us thought, especially on TikTok. We were talking yesterday. We all had the same thing, that they were going to physically whip them, and they did. They physically smacked around Washington. It is what it is. Michigan are the champs. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, they cheated. And shut up. I don't want to hear it. They didn't cheat. They were just fine. And even if they did, everybody else is cheating too. They just did it better than everybody else, so everybody's mad. Period, point blank. Everybody cheats. They always have. I don't know what everybody's talking about. They act like their program is squeaky clean and have never done nothing. Every program has been paying people from the beginning of time. And why people don't want to just acknowledge that is insane. Just acknowledge it. Everybody cheats. Michigan just figured out a way to do it better than everybody. And not to mention, it wasn't some insane, crazy plan. It wasn't like rocket science. All that you needed was a phone and a credit card to pull off this big, elaborate cheating scandal. You call a guy, hey, we'll give you a couple of bucks if you go film from the stands from a ticket that we're going to buy you. Go film it and send it to us. Film their signs. Okay. What are we talking about here? It's crazy. So again, they cheated. Everybody else cheats. Doesn't matter. Michigan are the national champs. They didn't lose a game. Everybody's saying, well, Georgia would have given them a better game. Georgia would have beat them. Georgia had their chance. Georgia lost. You know, and you can say that Georgia was one of the top 4 teams. I don't disagree with it. I think Georgia absolutely was one of the top 4 teams in the country. I absolutely believe it. But you know what Michigan did that Georgia didn't do? Lose a game. And you don't have to lose. I mean, there's nothing written that says, you know what, we can just drop this one game and we'll be fine. It's never been that way in college football. Never. Never, ever, ever have you just been able to lose a game and everything was always going to be okay. That's not how college football has ever worked. And Georgia lost when they didn't have to. And let's just be honest. Georgia was better than Alabama. They didn't show up and they got beat. And then they lost out. Period. So it is what it is, man. Sorry. Go blue. Isn't that the saying the Michigan fans say? Go blue. Go blue. National champs. Having said that, you're going to need a new head coach here in about a day or two. You're going to need a new head coach because Jim Harbaugh is out of there. Jim Harbaugh is out. And more power to him. Right off into the sunset. Don't even listen to what the NCAA has to say to you. Not to mention, the NCAA isn't going to do anything to Michigan. They're not going to do anything. Now, whether you think Michigan's a blue blood or not, I happen to think that they are. They don't punish blue bloods. They don't punish them. Ask Kansas. And it's a fringe thing, too. Because in Louisville basketball is on the fringe of a blue blood. They're not, but they're on the fringe. They punish Louisville. Kansas did the exact same thing. No punishment. So they're not punishing Michigan, people. They're not going to do it. Period, point blank. You want to put an asterisk by their title if you want to. I think you're nuts if you do. Bottom line, Michigan are the national champions. Let's move on. John Morant, and we'll cover this quick, man. John Morant out for the year. I think that's bad on a couple of different fronts. And let me know what you guys think, too. It's not that John Morant is that he's hurt and that's the big problem. He's just coming back from a suspension for his foolishness. That's what I'm worried about. Does Ja have the people that are around him that are going to help him stay out of trouble? Is the team going to keep him attached so that he doesn't stay, that he doesn't do this foolishness? Is that way? Can we do that? That's what I want for Ja. Now, it's going to help that he's in rehab, that he's rehabbing his shoulder, because that's what happened. Just for people that don't know, Ja Morant out for the year, got a torn labrum in his shoulder. Crazy that he's out, especially after just coming back, but that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately. So I hope that he's got the support system around him that he's going to be able to continue. Because it looks like he's on the right track right now. So hopefully he can continue that. Here's a comment by my man Seth. Which title has a bigger asterisk? The Lakers in the bubble or Michigan? Seth, I love you, brother, but you are out of your mind. There is no asterisk for either one, but you are out of your mind. But I love the conversation. So, he's talking about the Lakers, Mark, because the Lakers they were in the bubble and they won. Like there was nobody else that participated in the bubble. Nobody else participated. It was just the Lakers by themselves. Or that the Lakers didn't have the same kind of issues that everybody else did. Somehow, they didn't. But neither here nor there. But yeah, I just hope Ja can stay mentally attached to what he's doing, man. So I hope he can stay mentally attached. So we'll see. Let's move on. Man, I saw today Mike Vrabel got fired. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that Mike Vrabel got fired from Tennessee? I'm like, what exactly was Tennessee hoping for? That would be my question. I'm like, so Well, it was an agreement. Nobody agrees to lose money, man. He got fired. And I'm just like, what did y'all think this year was going to be? You have a bad roster. You started the year with basket case Tannehill as your quarterback. Okay. And then you went to the rookie who played well. Who played well. Will Levis has something. The defense is okay. And I'm just like, why are you giving up on Vrabel? He's not the problem. You have a bad roster. And I don't know. I think it's nuts. And everybody's saying Vrabel going to New England. And maybe he will. I think Mike Vrabel's a good football coach. I think Mike Vrabel is a very good football coach. And I don't think he's going to be out of a job very long. If I'm him, I don't go to New England, though. New England's a mess. New England is an absolute mess. I mean, he just left a mess. I wouldn't be so quick to go jump into another one. And yeah, I know he played there. He played at some other places too. I wouldn't be so quick to just go run into a mess. Not to mention you have to follow Bill Belichick. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Not if I'm Mike Vrabel. I don't want to do that. I would go to Atlanta. Go to the Chargers, someplace like that. But I wouldn't just go run to New England. Yeah, the Chargers. There you go. Michael and Joshua over here on TikTok. Absolutely. Chargers. That's what I think. Belichick's not going to Dallas. You got to stop that. Stop saying stuff like that, man. But yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I just don't understand what Tennessee's trying to gain. What they think. I don't know. The management, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I have no problems with being wrong. How do you guys feel about the management of these football teams over the last 5 to 10 years? Do you guys not believe or not think that the management side are just absolutely insane? Like the organization are insane? I mean, yes, there you go. Tennessee has ran horribly. Somebody over on TikTok. We appreciate it, man. Just terrible. Tennessee will have to hire a college coach. That's the mentality. I don't disagree. It's just stupid how bad that these organizations have been run, man. My goodness. Over on YouTube, my man Philip Haywood, thanks for joining the show, Philip. He said that San Diego, which I think he means Los Angeles, may be a good spot for him. Absolutely. I just think it's crazy that Tennessee would decide that Mike Vrabel, good football coach, team plays hard for him. That's another thing. They play extremely hard for him, even though they're not talented. I mean, what do you want from your football coach? I mean, you knew that you weren't winning this division this year. You knew that. You didn't have the roster for that. And he still got him to play hard, even the last game of the season, where they knocked out a division rival from being able to win the division. Because if Jacksonville beat them, Jacksonville wins the division, goes to the playoffs. Instead, they lose and they're out. Crazy. My man, yeah, Falcons would be the perfect spot. I think so too. Now, they need a quarterback, but if they can figure out the quarterback, I think the Falcons are set up perfect for what Vrabel is trying to do. They play hard, they play fast, they just need a quarterback. Yeah, if I'm him, I look to the Falcons. I would even go to the Commanders. And here's the thing, before y'all crush me about the Commanders, it's different ownership. It's not the same Daniel Snyder that we've known for the last 25 years that destroyed that entire franchise. Different ownership as the Commanders right now. You can go in there. You can figure some stuff out. I don't think that's a horrible place. Everybody is jaded, and myself included, thinking, oh, the Commanders, I would never go there. But it's not the same type of ownership. It's different. So I don't think that's a horrible spot for him to go. So it's not a horrible spot for him to go. But we will see. We will see. Let's open this thing up, man. Let's move on. Let's open this thing up. Going to start taking some questions. I may have to shut this one down early. I got some news about some stuff, so I may have to jump out of here. But we're going to do this as long as we can today. So let's see. What do we got here, people? What do we got? Again, live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Be looking for a time change for the show. Be looking for a time change for the show. I don't know exactly what time yet, but just be on the lookout. We may announce it at the end of the week. We'll see. We'll see. We're trying to maximize everything. You guys should be. I hope you guys will stick around and come to wherever we are if you can. Again, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. It's still going to be Monday through Friday, but we'll find out what time, man. We will find out if we're moving, what time we're moving. We'll still be live on the same channels, so we appreciate it. But let's take some questions, man. Let's take some questions. Let's open it up. What do you guys got? Who should the Steelers hire as the offensive coordinator? Man, I don't know. If Bieniemy doesn't get a job, I'd take him. If Bieniemy does not get a job, I would take him. The difference is Bieniemy's not a player's coach and Mike Tomlin is. I don't know if those two would mesh. I don't know. Big B, you think that the Raiders keep Antonio Pierce? I think they should. I think they're insane if they don't. I like what Antonio Pierce was putting down. I was picking up what he was putting down. The players came out and played extremely hard for him. And the best player, Max Crosby, just came out and said, I don't know why we wouldn't run it back with him. I don't know what else you're looking for. Your players love him. He knows what he's doing. Make him your coach. Make him your coach. Who knows? The Raiders may have made the playoffs if he was the head coach from the beginning of the season. Who knows? Give him an opportunity. I mean, you gave Josh McDaniels an opportunity. You give Josh McDaniels an opportunity, you can give opportunity to anybody. You can give the opportunity to anybody. That's my whole point. And I'm not trying to say that Antonio Pierce is just anybody. I'm just saying if Josh McDaniels can run your team, you'll let anybody run your team. You might as well give it to this guy that the players love, who's doing a good job, has the respect of the locker room. So Scott Smith says he still feels that Mike Tomlin needs to go. We covered this yesterday. I'll cover it as long as we need to. As a diehard Steeler fan, if Mike Tomlin doesn't win a playoff game this year, we need to trade him. I'm not backing off. I may be dumb. I may be crazy. 7 years of no playoff wins, that's enough for me. And yes, we're good every year. We compete every year, but that doesn't get us anywhere. I am not addicted to mediocrity. Mediocrity is the death of an organization. Mediocrity is the death of an organization. The Steelers have been mired in that for the last 7 to 8 years. It's time to get out. So let's see. What do we got over here on YouTube? Here's a question. Will the SEC have at least 6 teams in the college football playoff in 2024? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. First of all, if you just count the teams in the SEC this year, what 6 are going to make it? I mean, you have Alabama and Georgia. Maybe you would put in Ole Miss. I mean, LSU don't make it. unless you just want a bottom feed. But LSU wasn't one of the top 12 teams. So who else would qualify? Missouri? Okay. They ain't getting 6 teams in. Come on. Come on. We got to stop this. We got to stop this. And not to mention, the SEC was not the best conference this year. It just wasn't. And that doesn't have anything to do with them not being in the championship game. They just weren't the best conference this year. They just weren't. They're top heavy. I've been saying it for years. People want to argue. It is what it is. Big Ten, no, they weren't the best conference. You got to stop that too. They weren't even close. So the SEC will make sure they have 6, and so will ESPN. Well, you may be right about that. You might be right about that. So, and yes, Chuck, the Pac-12 was the best conference this year. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. SEC was not all around the best conference. Vanderbilt, they were one of the top teams. Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, Mississippi State, you talking about them, Arkansas. Give me a break. Stop. Oklahoma and Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia. First of all, these are the teams you think are going to make the college football playoff next year. Bama, Georgia, Missouri, Texas, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma, you're out of your mind. Oklahoma may not even have a winning record. You might need to check their schedule. Texas, is going to have a huge drop-off. That defensive line is going to stink. So will Missouri. Stop the nonsense, people. Stop the nonsense. But it is what it is. Vrabel going to the Pats. I hope he doesn't go to New England. I like Mike Vrabel as a head coach. I do. I like Mike Vrabel as a head coach. And if he goes to New England and they don't win within 2 to 3 years, he will be fired and he will never have a head coaching job again. Go somewhere where the team is better. Go to Atlanta. Even if he goes to the Commanders, he'll have plenty of time there to figure stuff out. Go to the Chargers is going to be Harbaugh's job. In no way, shape, or form should he go to Carolina. I don't know who would go work in Carolina. Let me ask you guys this question. And let me just add, and I know it's a high-paying job. It is a high-paying job. But keep it relevant. Keep it relevant to your job. Let's talk in terms of us. Your job that you make right now, whatever job that is, you could go and get a 10% raise and make good money, be in charge, where maybe you're not in charge now. You could go be in charge, but you have a boss that has daily meetings to tell you how bad, or weekly meetings to tell you how bad you are, dresses you down in front of your subordinates, and that happens on a weekly basis. Would you go take that job? Because I would say this. If you're under 30, you'll probably say yes. Because you haven't had enough experience to know. And that's not a knock on anybody that's under 30. But if you're over 30 and you've worked for 10 years, 8 years, you ain't taking that job. And that's the same thing with the Carolina Panthers. Ain't nobody doing that, man. Ain't nobody's going to take that job. I don't know who they're going to get. Now, somebody will take it because he'll pay and somebody will get the job. But I wouldn't go work for Tepper, Dave Tepper. No. It's going to be interesting, but we'll see. We'll see. What do we got over here on TikTok? Maurice Parks. So he said this is probably the most evenly distributed conference strength in years. This year, absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly. I mean, there's been years past when the SEC was clearly better than everybody else, but this just wasn't one of those years. And even though the Pac-12 was better, they weren't just miles better than everybody. It's just a little bit. So, what's he say about Carolina? Carolina. Ooh, yeah. Carolina is a dumpster fire with the QB that I'm not sure of. I don't think anybody's sure of Bryce Young, but it wasn't all Bryce Young's fault, man. They were bad. They were bad. No line, no nothing. No line, no nothing. Yeah, Chuck, you're right. The Carolina Panthers fans deserve better. Carolina should move to St. Louis. I don't think the moving has anything to do with it. I don't think it would help them because they get plenty of fans. They got passionate fans. They just got a horrendous owner. A horrendous owner. And I'm going to come back to this. We talked about it earlier. The organizations that just get run horribly. Tennessee, Carolina, the Chargers. Man, they're just bad. Just bad. The Bears. Nobody wants to say the Chicago Bears are run horrible because the McCaskey, I think that's how you say it, the family has owned it since its inception. The Bears are run horrible. I don't know if Atlanta's run horrible yet. I don't know. And thank you, Troy. We appreciate it, man. Thank you for saying that. We do our best. Like I said, we are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. We do our best. But yeah, man, nobody wants to say these franchises that are run horribly. The Giants, that's another one. Horrible decisions, paying Daniel Jones and not Saquon. What in the hell are you thinking? What are you thinking? Arizona, oh my God. Julius, Arizona is run so bad. I'm surprised the NFL hasn't just taken his franchise from him. The Arizona Cardinals, Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Christmas. Whew. Brutal. Oh, well. It is what it is. I mean, the Raiders, maybe. We'll see. If we'll see about the Raiders. If the Raiders make a good hire, we'll see. If they give the job to Antonio Pierce, I'm willing to give them, the benefit of the doubt. But he's been bad. You're right. He's been bad. What kind of ritual did Green Bay do to possibly go? Man, I don't know. But Green Bay, absolutely. Green Bay was left for dead. But what did they possibly do to go 3 for 3 with quarterbacks? I mean, you go from Favre to Rodgers and now to Love. Love is good. I know midway through the season, myself included, we all thought he stunk. No, he doesn't. He's pretty good, man. Jordan Love is pretty good. So, he is pretty good. He is pretty good. Let's see. Russell Wilson to Atlanta. I wouldn't be mad about that. Wouldn't be mad at all. Browns or Texans? I like the Browns. Yeah, I like the Browns. The Browns are playing well. I mean, it's tough for me to say this. I believe in Joe Flacco. I actually believe in Joe Flacco. And I know that's nuts to say. But I think Flacco has got something. I think Joe Flacco has got something. But I'm with it. I mean, like I said, I'm a diehard Steeler fan, but the Browns aren't our rival. I've said it many times on here. TikTok, the Browns are not our rival. They think that we're their rival or we're their rival, but they are not our rival. They are not our rival. So it is what it is. But I think the Browns win that game, man. Best game of the weekend. I said it earlier. is going to be the Rams and the Lions. That's going to be the best game of the weekend. I can't wait to watch. I cannot wait to watch. So I think that, and I also think Matthew Stafford is going back to Detroit to win a game. I think going back to Detroit to win a game. So, James Richards, good point, man. Good point. Over here on TikTok, think Jim Schwartz ever gets looked at for a head coaching job again? I don't think so. There's enough retreads running around the National Football League. He was horrible as a head coach. There's no reason to give him another opportunity. And it wasn't like a one-year wonder guy. You know, if anybody deserves another head coaching chance, it's Steve Wiltz, who never got the chance. And, of course, that wonderful organization of Arizona. You have no quarterback, a horrible roster. I'm the head coach that you just hired, and then you fire me after 1 year because we were bad when we knew we were going to be bad. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's a guy that probably deserves another chance. Defensive coordinator out of the 49ers, Steve Wiltz. He would deserve to be a retread coach. If you can even call, is he even called a retread when you only get 1 year? And that 1 year happens to be in Arizona? Ugh. Terrible. Chargers will be interviewing Wilkes today. Good. Good. I don't think he's going to get that job, but he can get a job somewhere. Where does Dan Quinn go? I don't know. But I think it depends on what the Cowboys do in the playoffs. Cowboys lose early, he ain't going anywhere because he's going to be the head coach of the Cowboys. That's the thing with Dan Quinn. If the Cowboys don't make it to the NFC Championship game, they will be making a coaching change. And Dan Quinn will be sliding right in as the head coach. And McCarthy will be out. Where do I see Ron Rivera going? To the retirement home, where he should go. Can somebody please explain to me why people think that Ron Rivera is a good football coach? Can other than the 1 year in Carolina, can anybody explain to me why people think he's like the Jeff Fisher of this decade? He's literally the Jeff Fisher of this decade. People thought Jeff Fisher was the world's greatest coach because they went to the Super Bowl once and they played tough games in the 4 playoff appearances that he made in Tennessee. I mean, do y'all realize that he was a head coach? They went to the playoffs 4 out of 17 years. Is that good? And Rivera's just like that. Man. Whew. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I appreciate y'all on TikTok tapping that screen, man. Thank you, guys. If you're in here and you're not following, please give me a follow. And then also, boom, hit the YouTube button in my bio. Hit that link. Come on over to YouTube and join the live over there, man. Now, here's a question over on TikTok, or over on YouTube. I'm sorry. Big B, why isn't Dak getting MVP love? Well, I think he was until he threw up that stinker against Buffalo. I mean, Dak was the leader at the time. And then you play like that against Buffalo, you're out. And then he didn't come back and have a great game against Miami. He's finished. Because what people will say is Dak got a bunch of good numbers against teams that weren't that good, which that's true. And you're not winning the MVP like that. That's why Dak is not in the running. And why people say, well, his numbers are better than Lamar Jackson's. Well, I'm sure they got a couple of common opponents. Matter of fact, I know so. Against the San Francisco 49ers, Lamar Jackson dominated them. Dak played maybe his worst game of his career. The very next week, they played the Miami Dolphins, who happened to play the Dallas Cowboys the week before. I mean, and Lamar just exploded all over them. Pause, by the way. He just dominated them. He dominated them. And Dak didn't do anything special. Yeah, I had to throw a pause in there, man. I had to throw a pause in there. Had to. Look, I'm old, people. Don't get on me. I'm old. I am just getting used to the words pause, glazing, meat riding. I'm just getting into it. I hang out with my homeboy. He's got a college age son, and he was telling me all the words to use. Glazing. I'm like, you can't even compliment anybody anymore without glazing somebody. What's going on here? What is going on? But you know what? It makes me feel young. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I'm in. When it's a new term, everyone runs over to do it. Yeah, they do, Ian. And I'm going to run too. Dag nabbit. Just like standing on business. I stand on business. I don't know what I do on a day-to-day basis that would make me say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Today, the Goon Squad, y'all are standing on business. There we go. So, how far do I think the Cowboys will go? I think the Cowboys will go to the NFC Championship game. Before the season, I picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to do it, but I think they can get to the NFC Championship game. I really do. I really do. Now, here's my hope. Y'all know that I'm the vice president of the Dallas Cowboys hater committee. I'm the vice president. What I hope happens is that the Cowboys lose the first round of the playoffs so I can run over to the Star, which is 10 minutes from my house, that direction. I can run over there. Y'all come to TikTok because I'll be doing a live right from the Star making fun of them. So that's what I hope happens. But I think they can make it to the NFC Championship game. So that's what I think. What do we got over here? For some reason, NFL like mediocre coaches rather than giving qualified coordinators. Some of the coordinators can bring new and innovative schemes to the league instead of some old dog tricks. You are 1,000% correct, Maurice. The NFL loves retread coaches. They love to retread coaches. For the life of me, I can't understand as an owner why you would hire a guy that literally just got fired from his job. Like David Tepper, again, just a deranged owner that has no idea what he's doing. Has Carolina, he gets rid of Matt Rule, which I don't know that he should have, but okay, you get rid of Matt Rule, you don't think it's working. Steve Wilkes comes in as the interim, does a good job, and they're like a game from making the playoffs. Does a really good job. The locker room loves him. Nah, we don't want that guy. We don't want Steve Wilkes. We're going to hire Frank Reich, who literally just got fired for being bad. Like Frank Reich didn't get fired for a contract dispute, or he didn't get fired because, I don't know, for whatever reason. He was fired because his team sucked. And he thought that, and it was his decision to keep bringing in old quarterbacks that weren't any good. But somehow that should have been the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. He didn't even last a season. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So we'll see, man. We will see. What else we got, TikTok? We're talking about two guys that got canned and stink. It doesn't matter. Yeah. They stink. I mean, why is Frank Reich even, he'll never be a head coach again. But I'm like, why was he even being considered? At least sit out a couple years before you hire that guy. Make him go prove himself as a coordinator again. Isn't that what happened to Dan Quinn? Goes to the Super Bowl, is a choke job away from winning the Super Bowl, gets fired 2 years later, And then now he has to prove himself again as a coordinator. Well, I think that should have to happen. I mean, if you get fired for being bad, what makes you better than somebody else that maybe didn't even have the opportunity? So, what are the Bears doing with the first pick? I think the Bears got to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. because he won't be around. Usually I would say, don't take a wide receiver first, take a tackle, but he's not going to be around, and you need him. So take him. You can get the tackle at your next pick. Spend all your, I think they got like $90 million in cap room. Rebuild your defense, which played pretty well at the end of the year, and go be good right now. Go be good right now. You got 2 first round draft picks because you got the one for Carolina and you have your own. Go be good. Don't trade Justin Fields. Don't do it. Because then you're starting over. Don't do it. Thoughts on Pete Carroll? I mean, I know people in Seattle are ready to get rid of Pete Carroll. It's kind of the Mike Tomlin disease. It's, okay, what have you done for me lately? When are you going to win a playoff game again? You ran out of town a quarterback, but it sounds like he wasn't that good. But what's going on now with him? I think it's probably time that Pete Carroll goes. It may be time. It may be time. They're not getting any better in Seattle. You can blame it on Geno if you want. Okay. But mediocrity, I'll say it again, mediocrity is the death of a franchise. It just is, man. Mediocrity is the death of a franchise. You don't get any better. You don't get worse. You're just stuck in the middle. And that's why for Steeler fans, it's so frustrating because that's where we have been for literally the last 7-8 years, just right in the middle. That's no good. It's no good. So where do I think Eckler goes next season? Who knows? Who knows? I know he stunk this year, so they need a full rebuild in Seattle. I think if they just rebuild the offensive line, they keep the offensive line, they rebuild it and just keep working on it. They do need a quarterback. Geno is average. So, but you do it right. You keep Geno until you find a guy. You keep Geno until you find a guy. And if they can find a guy, they'll be all right. If they can find a guy. So, but we'll see. We will see. All right, man. I got to run. So we're going to shut this one down for the day. I appreciate everybody that came in today, man. TikTok, we were rocking. YouTube, we were rocking. Everybody, we were rocking, man. So I appreciate it. Again, Monday through Friday. We'll check on the times, but as of right now, we're still at 4 Central Time. TikTok, if you're in here and you're not following, please give me a follow. And also click on that YouTube link in my bio. Come subscribe over on YouTube to Big B Sports Talk. And if you're on here in YouTube and you're not subscribed to Big B Sports Talk, please do. A lot of podcasts, a lot of interviews, a lot of short stories, a lot of stuff that you may not get anywhere else is on the YouTube page. We appreciate everybody. Thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Aloha.